Whilst we're still figuring out how to fill college forms, many of us are in high school, and we're filling forms for university. She's filed for Miss Universe, and she won. She stopped smuggling rings in Aarya, got a Taali for her performance in Taali. She adopted kids before it became a woke Instagram trend, lifted weights before it was aesthetic, and chose roles with more guts than filters. A real-life queen who said "Main hoon na" and actually meant it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together on the 10th edition of I.I.M.U.N's role model series for none other than the sensational Sushmita Sen. So much for coming. Thank you for coming. Your family is here. Yes, yes. A huge round of applause for her family who's joined and who's been kind enough in order to come. Her mother, daughter, father. Thank you, thank you. Please, wherever you'd like to. Okay. Firstly, they are overexcited. All the cameras are out. And everyone who's in school somehow has got a camera which is now recording. But thank you so much for doing this, Sushmita.
It's my pleasure, Jan Mary. Such a wonderful opportunity to come. What energy, you guys! I love you so, so much.
This is, can I be honest?
Yeah.
This is the most excited that they have been since the morning.
You had lots of events today.
Well, this is the 8th speaker.
8th?
8th. But they've
I'm
done
so
only
sorry I'm coming so late. यार मेरे को पहले बुलाना चाहिए था. थक गए हो ना सब? I can. So I must tell you a little something before we start. My daughter, Alisa, the younger one, she's here. Come on, get up and say hello, Alisa. So Alisa has done she's been a chairperson for a committee which was for her school. I'm saying it properly, Alisa. She told me like 20 times, don't say I.I.M.U.N. I said, yeah, for your school, M.U.N., I get it. So she said, you know, Mama, what happens in these kind of days? They go through multiple committees, they have lots of speakers, they're already very tired. Keep your answers really short, okay? Don't talk too much because they're already very, very tired. And then I get to know there have been 8 speakers before me. How fantastic. I'll keep it short.
No. I think this is the one conversation that they want to make sure is very long, isn't it? Yes. And I must tell your daughter, Alisa, because she's here, Sharoni Malik of Singapore International will remember this lean, fragile boy and a lot of volunteers who set up your M.U.N. conference like the 1 lakh schools that do M.U.N. in the year 2013. So you must give my regards to Sharoni Malik when you go back home.
Oh, that's a sweetheart.
But thank you for doing this. It really means a lot. The role model series is where we profile role models who inspire not just for their work, but the way they've conducted themselves outside of their work. And you are a stellar example for that. But the first thing that popped up to me when I thought about you coming in and speaking to them is, by the time you were their age, you were Miss Universe. Did you ever have a plan B, or was this something that you always wanted to do? And you thought that, nahi, ye to hoga hi.
No, not at all. My father wanted me to be an IS officer. So little background. Papa is from defense. He's ex-Air Force. And he served the country for 26 years before taking premature retirement. Yes. And my mom, who's here today, Mrs. Sushmita Sen, she is the reason that I came to be Miss India and Miss Universe. So I actually did not have that plan at all for my life. I was studying, standing in queues for college admissions, was trying to get into St. Stephen's for Eco Honors. and didn't make the percentage.
You
And
didn't
then,
need to make the percentage.
yeah, no, didn't make the percentage, felt bad. But you know what? After winning Miss Universe, they gave me a lifelong opportunity to come and graduate anytime I'd like. Yeah. So,
How lovely.
so it was a wonderful thing. Anyway, you guys are far more educated than I am. I'm 12th passed 12th. And then, yeah, so before that happened, I was discovered in a nightclub. And my mom and dad didn't know I had gone there. तो अब मैं बोलूं कैसे कि somebody has asked me for this opportunity. अब मैं किस मुंह से बोलूं?
Correct.
फिर हिम्मत करके मम्मी को बताया. She's the only one I tell everything to. Huh? To this day, I have never lied to my mother. How are you guys doing on that front? I understand. I completely understand. So anyway, this is how that option came to be. Sure. It wasn't a plan.
Okay.
But it became one, and then I went into it 100%.
Then 100%. Got it. And you got fame, money at a very young age. Today, when you look back at the journey that you've had, do you wish you would have known something when you were starting out at 18? What would your advice be to your 18 or 16-year-old self?
Oh, I wouldn't advise her. I have always thought that that 18-year-old was very wise. I'm here sitting in front of you because of that 18-year-old.
Oh, nice.
You see, we didn't have social media. We didn't even have the internet. So everything was pretty interpersonal. हर चीज़ को ना महसूस करना होता था. Uncle, auntie, family, friends, teachers, दोस्त, ये सारे लोग, they used to define everything that we did in our lives, contributing to it, not judging it, contributing to it. So I have a lot of people to thank for that. But that 18-year-old was very sorted. Dil se jiya hai, if you know that feeling.
Correct.
Where I didn't know the math. Yeah, but if there was something about money and fame, I would have to say both of these things are pretty transient. Aate jate rahenge life mein. The only thing that one has to focus on, and I wish somebody had said that to me when I was 18.
Sure.
Is that you've got to build relationships.
Right.
You have to look at your life as a lambi race ka ghoda, not instant gratification. Aaj mil gaya, abhi chahiye, but lambi race ka ghoda. Luckily, I learned that in time.
And you said something very valuable. You said it's more important to build relationships than rather to build just your bank balance.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Therefore, knowing how to cultivate and build those relationships, especially when you're in your teenage years. I.I.M.U.N has been fortunate to host many a speaker. Today we had a Prime Minister who came in and spoke, and many other people who speak are shadowed by 16, 17, 18 and 19. These are the people who run the show. And the idea that these people get a chance to spend a lot of time with people such as you, especially when they're traveling to different parts of the country and the world, they have the ability to cultivate those relationships. What would your advice be to those people when it comes to what are the kind of conversations that they should be having? Because obviously when it comes to the level of intellect, it's going to differ dramatically. The life experience is going to differ dramatically. But
Conditioning will differ.
Correct.
Tremendously.
So what to talk about? Because this has been something that even when I was growing up and when the first I.I.M.U.N in 2011, when we'd done that, I remember that Shamak Davar had come, right? And Shamak had come and the first conversation that I had with him was about, I tried to talk to him about dance and choreography and things like that. And he said, but theek hai na Rishabh, your domain expertise is something else. You like something else, you focus on that. And you can ask me just generally. So what would your advice be on how to cultivate relationships? Of course, Shamak's been kind enough. Now it's 14 years. He's yet a part of I.I.M.U.N, integral part.
Oh, fantastic. That's a huge round of applause for him.
But
I love Shamak. I absolutely love Shamak Davar, and he's been my teacher as well. He's made me I became the third woman in history to perform the Moulin Rouge at the IFA Awards, and he's the only reason I could dare to try and do jazz. So he's a fantastic guru. Guys, the only language that allows relationships, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is to get into conversations rather than gossips. If you know what I mean, in the bigger picture. Talk about yourself rather than others. Because the experience you're carrying is very authentic. It's very you. And there's only one of you, man. Imagine that. Your DNA tells you that. You are just such a unique person that everything that is built around for you to flourish, for you to grow, for you to be your best potential, for you to reach that potential. So, conversations, empathy, big one in my dictionary. I feel like if you can put yourself in other people's shoes, you are better off and they are better off. And the world today lacks a little bit. Empathy, you understand? Is that thanda, yes, matlab? Okay. So to feel for someone, right? And to take all the diversity that there is within our country alone and speak the language of love instead of division and to speak the language of inclusion. And that's enough. All these other things that divide us anyway. But our experiences are very similar. Notice that? अरे ये तेरे साथ हुआ मेरे साथ भी हुआ है but मेरे साथ भोपाल में हुआ साथ कानपुर में हुआ. It doesn't matter. Geography does not divide us, should never divide us. The only thing that can build long-lasting relationships is honest conversations and just lots of empathy.
Honest conversations and a lot of empathy. And we are having an honest conversation. And I know that you are high on EQ and also very empathetic because of the things that you've done per se. For example, you chose to, rather than further your own gene pool, in a way you furthered your own gene pool by adopting not just once but twice, both Renee and Alisa. And that is something that you've done much before it, like I said, much before it became an Instagram thing to do and it was nice to do and everybody posted pictures of, they post pictures of their children and so on and so forth. Yeah. What got you to veer away from the traditional having your own child philosophy?
Well, actually, Rishabh, nothing in my life has been traditional, if you think about it. I studied in a Hindi medium school, then came to an English medium school, thanks to my mom again, failed the first year, all subjects, including math because it was Ganit. Now I have a different subject and I'm working with a very different social structure. From there, straight, so I'm giving you a little bit of this back history because you must understand कि आपकी ज़िंदगी कहीं से भी शुरू हो. Doesn't matter where it starts from. But when you're presented with an opportunity, you have to rise. And you have to get up and take it with both arms. And to be able to do that, you don't need anything but yourself present. 100% present. Because of that upbringing, when Miss India presented itself, I participated with no history. दूर तक खानदान में किसी ने ये सब किया नहीं है. So it was like one डर भी था, and then their sense of achievement was equally big. And that gave me the opportunity to go to Miss Universe. Now when Miss Universe happened, what happened? An Indian girl from Delhi at that point, who had never traveled abroad except to Malaysia once, was made a global citizen. I belonged to so many countries all at once, and I was this picture of hope, and I was 18. And while doing these visits around 33 nations during that 1 year, I had the privilege of seeing the real world, not a glorified one. And during that time, I went to orphanages where I saw lots and lots of little babies that I instantly knew, this is a fit. They need a mother. I want to be one. It's not that complicated. It's that simple. And so when that opportunity, well, it didn't present itself. I had to fight for it. But coming back to the adoption process, at 19, when I told my mother, I think I'm ready, I'm going to be a mom. She's like, what? You're a baby yourself? You're going to be a mom, meaning what? So don't talk to me about all this. Focus on your career, focus on work, focus on other things. But then she saw, so did my father, 19, 20, 21, 22. I just kept going. I want to be a mother. I think, Rishabh, what that answer to that question in a nutshell is, dunya mein everybody thinks of having babies. I wanted to be a mother. And to me, that concept was very simple.
How lovely. How lovely. And then what did your mum say when you were 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 and going back to her every day and saying that I want to be a mother? How easily did she accept it or not accept it?
She's like, where's the man? कहाँ किससे शादी हो रही है? I said, man की ज़रूरत क्या है? मुझे माँ बनना है. Wife नहीं. You know, I was so clear about that concept that don't confuse being a wife and being a mom. You can be a nurturer as anyone. And if that was something I wanted to do, I wanted to do. So anyway, I think my mom did one of her favorite things with me. Maun Vrat. I will not talk to you about this subject. She's sitting right there and she's laughing because she's really put me through the Maun Vrat a few times. And then my father finally said, you realize, ये गुड़िया नहीं है कि आप 2 दिन खेल के कहते हो मैं अब नहीं हो रहा है मेरे से. I can't do this. It's a lifelong commitment. Are you ready? I said, Baba, which mother gives birth and has a PhD in being a mother? I'll also learn. But I will commit and I'll honor it. And boy, did I fall in love with that commitment because you're so right. I've been blessed twice with 2 very beautiful daughters.
How lovely. And your mother is applauding both you and your daughter.
That's lovely. There are 3 generations right here.
There are all 3 of you, and towards the end, if it's okay, we'll get all 3 of you on stage to accept the memento.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I would love that.
But, you know, Sushmita, you have defined the quintessential Indian...
Can you not call me G?
I won't call you G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sushmita is fine.
Sushmita is fine.
Sush is fine.
Okay.
But Sushmita G makes me a very serious entity.
No, but
Like
partly
also,
also,
In
also
fact,
is
I'm
G.
really trying to behave myself because, you know, I'm all dressed up and I must behave and all. I'm not like this at all.
Okay. ठीक है. No, partly also has G, so I get concerned. Plus the politicians who come. So, but Sushmita, if I may.
You know what I want to say quickly? I know you guys are tired, but I have to say this. I have heard so much about Rishabh and his shyness and underconfidenceness and all of those things. And for him to sit here and have this conversation with one guest after another and to have thought of so many other children to have the same opportunity, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And the social anxiety trigger just got triggered. But if I may, you know, the 21st century quintessential Indian, the global Indian woman is what one would think of when one thinks of you. And all your decisions in life are that of a strong, independent woman. What does woman empowerment and gender parity mean to you, especially in a day and age when it has become a buzzword and it's discussed more on Instagram? Hashtag, yes.
How many ladies in the house? Young ladies, raise your hand. There's no age. I didn't say young ladies only for the 15-year-olds to raise their hands. Everyone, raise your hand. Oh, nice. The rest are all old men?
The rest are...
So guys, oh, by the way, it's so nice to see the house lights. I can see you, man. Hello, everybody. I see you now. So, guys, I thank you for asking this question because I think I, for one, don't use this word at all. Women empowerment.
Correct.
Like, guys, you're born empowered, man. Every single one of you. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl or the other gender. You're born empowered. Equal opportunities. Support, allowing true potential to rise. Yes, all this is more a social conditioning than an empowerment process. We are not bicharis. We don't need to be empowered. We just need to be given equal opportunities. We'll figure out our own empowerment. Hai ke nahi ladkiyan? Fantastic. So I think that's how I feel about it.
And it's not just about women, but you've also role-played transgender in Taali.
Did you guys watch Taali, anyone? You did? Oh, thank you for that. I was hoping that you guys watch it more than anyone else. The younger. Oh, I love you, man. Thank you. So this means the world to me. You have no idea how many people discouraged me not to do it, not to play a transgender. You've been Miss Universe. You don't want to associate with so much divisiveness and so much of painful hatred. And I was like, if I as an actor don't do this today, given that the transgender community is allowing me to, which was a big deal. Globally, if you know, the transgender community does not allow male and female, they don't appreciate this gender to play them. They want their own gender to play them. So it was a huge opportunity, and I was just like, you know what? Theek hai, I'll take it. I'll take the criticism when it comes. But I must know that I have been loved so much as Sushmita for 30 long years. If I can take that love to Gauri's story and to the transgender community, I would have served my purpose as an actor. So,
And you clearly have served your purpose as an actor and much more, and much more. But if I may, a lot of people, and in Indian mythology, from my myopic understanding, there are many cases where Ganesh becomes Gauri. Yes. But a lot of people also say that whilst gender identity needs to be rooted, but gender expression can be fluid. This is a worldview that a lot of people also have. What are your thoughts on this subject matter, per se?
it's like, you realize it's a funny thing to say that. Because that which you identify with, you will express. It's just the way we are as people. The only unnatural thing in it is, let's say, you were born a boy and you feel like a girl, but you have to express yourself like a boy because that's what is acceptable. What does that do? Ends up messing up so many families, so many lives, because you could not express freely that which you identify with. I, for one, believe both need to be fluid. That is the only time it's balanced.
But when is the right time for both to be fluid? Now, there are a lot of, one completely appreciates and understands the perspective that you bring. But at the same point in time, today there are conversations in schools, IB schools, in now far and wide across the country and smaller villages as well, where when we do these programs, when we empower the schools to do their own versions of the programs, etc., there is a debate that if Rishabh is saying that an 18-year-old should, instead of an 18-year-old, you should have a 16-year-old who should vote, then why not at 16 I be empowered with the franchise to choose whether I identify as a boy or whether I should undergo a sex change operation and then identify differently. So what are your thoughts on this, given the fact that those who are between the age bracket of 13 to 25 are in the most impressionable age? Their prefrontal cortex scientifically has not been developed. And sometimes the logic that comes from the other end, and I add my 2 bits to it, is that at 18, if you vote for BJP one day, the next day you can change and you can vote for the Congress party. But if you undergo a sex change operation when you are not well-formed, you don't have a well-formed mind or an opinion, then it may be an irreversible damage that you're doing to your body. So what are your thoughts on that subject?
Oh boy, I think you answered it. It's that simple. I think nobody really knows. I only know what the government's age is in most countries, which is legally allowed, is 18. And with good reason, very good reason. From my little understanding, when you do choose a different gender and you want to follow through physically with it, it's not just a physical thing. There is a hormonal thing, which you can reverse. But then there is a surgery, like Rishabh mentioned, which is irreversible. The thing is, before 18, you are supposed to want to be an astronaut one day. Go join NASA. Next day, you want to be the prime minister of the country. This is what, up to 18, genetically also, biologically also. We're meant to have the freedom to explore different things, to figure who am I, what do I want to be, what do I identify with. If you are not mentally stable to make those decisions and you impact your physical body, that can be very, very sad, because then you cannot go back and you, na ghar ka na ghat ka. So I think 18 is a good age, I think. But I also feel, if you feel at 16, I identify with being a boy or a girl in a different body, change your pronouns, change how you want to be addressed, do things that are reversible. But by all means, live your life, darlings. Live your life. Don't let anyone tell you how to live it. Because at the end of the day, you will get this one shot at it. One shot. Go past your conditioning. I was raised like this. I was taught like that. My family was like this. Identify with your own calling. वो जो अंदर से आवाज निकलती है और बार-बार बोलती है, you need to do this. Then go out and do it. Yes?
Oh, nice. You're getting. This is one session in which we don't have to wait for the applause. They automatically follow it up after your answer. But
I just want to make sure they're listening, because I have a very attentive crowd here. I love this energy. I just love it.
Well, you spoke about living life to the fullest, being an authentic version of yourself.
Yeah.
But you've also, because of the field that you work in, you've been judged, you've been criticized
A lot.
for your relationships, your movies, your decisions that you've made in life. And therefore my question is that, how do you deal with peer pressure as an individual? And what advice would you give to, say, your daughter and to everybody who's sitting here and will watch this, of how to deal with peer pressure, especially when you are an adolescent?
Oh boy. This is very serious stuff. Okay?
Some serious questions.
Yeah. This is like super serious stuff. I'm going to put on my serious face now. I'm going to give a very serious answer. Are you listening? Good. Aarya meri jaan. Done. So here's what I think. Peer pressure is not new to the world. It has always existed, one way or another. When education was a key factor, even then, when it wasn't, even then, your socio-economic structures didn't change it, the politics didn't change it. It's always been there. Now with social media and with the world opening up in so many different platforms, it's even more so now than it was in my time, let's say. I can only go back and tell you what I have learned. And if one of you understand it, I tell you it's life-changing. It is life-changing. The only reason we fall for peer pressure, this is something I have told both my daughters as well, is because we need to be constantly validated and accepted. If I do this, I'll be liked, you know. And boy, the concept of that like button on Instagram, those hearts, we're so addicted to that idea that we need to belong to something. And for that, we're willing to allow this pressure, the peer pressure. Know yourself. And learn to understand that instant gratification, now. I want friends now. I want to go out, hang in that rave party now. I need to be accepted now. All of this will happen in your life. Because we don't live in isolation. दोस्त बनने ही हैं. और बहुत अच्छे दोस्त बनने हैं. But be careful about that tribe. And that tribe will come to you in due course of time. Why? Because everybody loves a person who knows themselves. Have you noticed that? कि आज मैंने हाँ बोला, कल मैंने ना बोला. क्यों? क्योंकि दोस्त बोल रहे थे. या क्योंकि मेरे से ये expect किया जा रहा था. If you know yourself, you may not make 15, 20 great friends. You may make 5, but they will last you a lifetime. And they will help you become the best version of yourself. I tell you, in 32 years of being in the public eye, I have made maybe 5 great friends. But kuch ho jaye, aaj bhi. If I take a call, they all come and support me. No questions asked. They don't say, kaisa lagega, kisko bura lagega. Nahin. You want to take that call? We are all in. If I do something gadbad, those 5 people walk up to me and say, gadbad kiya Sush. Bahut gadbad kiya. You need friends like that. So don't allow other people to define you, love. Once you give away that right, it's gone. The pressure is then real. Be yourselves.
Be yourselves, be authentic, and like you mentioned, that don't take peer pressure. But it's one thing to say it, and I'm only
It's very difficult.
yes.
It's difficult.
You have 2 teenage daughters. I.I.M.U.N is
I do want to add here.
Right.
My 2 teenage daughters, itna sab sikhane ke baad bhi have experienced it. And that is part of growing up, guys. But you can't can't follow that path by default. At some point, you got to choose. So this whole idea is to eventually choose it. I think my elder daughter is learning how to choose it. My younger one, she is working on it. Let's put it that way. We're working on it. Hannah? But do you agree? This happens a lot? Yes? It's like,
now there's peer pressure. Now there is peer. Now there is peer.
Now there's parent pressure.
Parental pressure. Yes, but if I may, when I talk to young people, the volunteers at the organization, and it is one thing to say that don't take peer pressure and do things differently, etc. The other is the instant gratification that they're getting on a daily basis. Yes. They are getting dopamine hits in the form of Instagram reels, and before they finished one, they've gone on to the other. It's the day and age of T20 cricket. Test matches have long gone. It is the age of Yannick Sinner and not the age of Roger Federer anymore. The idea that it's a fast-changing world, and where for them a dopamine hit or a rush of oxytocin to their brain is a very small thing that happens in a moment and then disappears. Now, when this kind of advice is given, and therefore I'm very candidly, because you said it's a candid conversation.
Please.
So it's good to hear. But they do come and they do say, which I'm sure your daughters also would come and say, is that, but mum, but I like ABC, or I want to do XYZ, because everybody today, and this comes to role models, and the reason we do this series is because everybody that they see on these Instagram reels is getting the 2-minute fame, getting the 10 million followers, and then is prescribing and giving gyan when actually their life is in complete disarray itself.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Therefore, do you think somewhere that role models and the people that they follow, whether it be on social media platforms or what they see in media overall, will also have a huge impact on how they perceive success, happiness, etc.? And to that end, do you think that the 5 people, apart from the ones that you make in terms of friends, this is what my small understanding is, the 5 people that you look up to also, essentially is what you imbibe. Like, I absolutely adore and love the same person, Shamak, and he keeps telling me, saying, darling, chill. Don't take so much stress. Take it easy, so on and so forth. And I've learned so many things from him in terms of how to approach life. So my question to you is that, how does one choose a good role model? Or who is a good role model?
Who do you think is a good role model? Okay, thank you for that. But according to you, just throw names that you like. Come on. Rohit Sharma. Good call, huh? Then? Mother, yes?
Mother.
Shah Rukh Khan. Acha. Messi. Who said Messi? I see there's a lot of Ronaldo fans here, and with good reason.
Right.
Yes. So now I'll tell you.
Right. Okay.
Okay, the ones that said Sushmita Sen, I love you guys. The rest of you, what's wrong with you guys? Anyway, coming back. Listen, guys, now serious, because I've been told by Rishabh I have to also do some serious talking here, okay? You have to be very careful with role models. Very careful. And this, a very wise person told me once, and I have kind of made it a part of my life. It's true, huh? The people that we aspire to be, or become like, or that makes life look like it's full of potential, you have to know them better. If you really love them, know them better. When you say Ronaldo, when you say Messi, you know, these are people who have spent years doing what they do. Their commitment to their to the sport or to their lifestyle, the sacrifices they've made to become who they've become, it's of epic proportions, and we know that. But we say it with such confidence today because we have seen them over a period of time. You cannot instantly have a role model because they are the talk of town, because they are so influential to you, like Rishabh correctly said, in those 2 minutes. You have to give them time. I personally must give you an example. My English was still shaky. मैं तभी भी सीख रही थी उस वक्त, when I won Miss Universe. So I had to go speak at the United Nations in Egypt, at the United Nations Development Fund. एक तो बहुत लंबे नाम होते हैं. So ये मेरे को सीख के जाना था, and I had to go speak there about the countries that are now developing, and they have to, the youth of that country, I was representing that. कौन बात कर रहे थे वहाँ पे? Ted Turner, his then wife Jane Fonda, and the third person was Newt Gingrich, who was running for the President of United States. बस इतने छोटे लोग थे, और उसके बीच में मुझे आके बात करनी थी. And because I was the youngest, मेरे को last जाना था. They all started, and guess what they did? सब कुछ बोल डाला उन्होंने. All my 6 months of research, they had said everything. And I had a speech that I could no longer, without repeating myself, read out. So anyway, I came up and I showed them the sheet, Imandari se, and I said, I'm so sorry I prepared this, but everyone has already said everything. So I'm going to tell you about my country. I'm going to tell you about the youth of India. And I did that entire speech essay. Just jo man mein aaya bol diya. I got a standing ovation. The person who initiated that standing ovation was Mr. Ted Turner. And when, yes, applaud him. अब उनको जब मैंने speech बोलते हुए सुना, that's when I realized I want to be like him. Now I'm coming to role models. I want to be like him. I want to speak like him. I want to have clarity like him. इतना सब कुछ बोल दिया, सब पढ़ के सुना रहे हैं. He spoke verbatim. And he spoke beautifully. So I said, मुझे इनके जैसा बनना है. So anyway, I met him later. I told him, gave him the compliment in my broken English. And then he said to me, किसी भी ज़बान में, in English, he said, you speak in any language. Speak in Hindi. But make sure that you are speaking your truth, not a written word from someone else. Whatever that truth is, in any language, it'll reach people. So I was like, yeah. That's when I said, मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगी अब, speeches में. But then I realized कि अगर मुझे बोलना ही है, तो मुझे वो ज़बान आनी चाहिए जिससे आप पूरे दुनिया से बात कर सकें. Then I started learning English properly. He became a role model. Madonna was a role model. Not for her music so much, but because a 5'0" performer could command 100,000 people like this. Audacity. And I loved her for that. I have loved her Mother Teresa for being an Albanian who came to our country and made it her home. And because of her, so many of our children have a home. There have been people that I have looked at and admired over the years, but I've been very careful. I have never been someone who just looked at someone once or twice and said, wow. Because that wow means I'll become like them. I will take from them something that may not be good for me in the long run. So take your time with role models. The rest of you who said Sushmita Sen, you're good to go.
No, but what you said is so true. Take your time. Don't just select one because a 2-minute reel or a 30-second reel in most cases is what is enamoring. Mostly when the spotlight falls on some of the influencers and those who achieve fast fame, then the reality shines through, and then it's a very different person in comparison to what you've seen. And therefore, like I said, the person who came before you, the two speakers who were there, were the two youngest speakers that we've profiled, who were the 35 and 33. And somebody asked me this once, saying, Rishabh, why do you only profile people who are upwards or north of a particular age? I said, there's nothing like that.
Did he just call me upward? And
No.
Did he just say that?
No, I did.
Let's talk after this.
But the idea that you've seen a large part of their career, how they have actually behaved in the public eye, the many controversies that they've dealt with, how they've eventually become, and what are the values that they actually stand for. And sometimes there are some schools that recommend saying, but perhaps you should get an influencer. And I said, but the influencer needs influencing, with no disrespect. And it is only those who've seen and experienced many things that can actually dispense advice. And to that end, I'm very grateful, and in no other way. And one thing that I must, because we're on the subject, is the definition of beauty. It still is stuck somewhere in what is now today on Snapchat called filters and on Instagram filters.
I like filters. You like filters? No. Filterless किसने बोला भाई इधर आना? इधर आना? किसने बोला filterless? You have to be a filterless person, but by all means use a filter, man. That's what it's for. Use it. If it gives you happiness, use it. By all means, I'm for it. Huh?
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it where in terms of filters are utilized when it comes to the definition of what is supposed to be beautiful. And that is where what is aesthetic today is the definition of aesthetic things is yet in a particular bracket, and therefore that should change. And that has changed dramatically over the years. But even to date, it is yet a concept that is evolving. There are many people who grapple with body shaming. There are many people who grapple with being underconfident. I, for the longest time, was underweight. I'm yet told the same. But
you know how many people are working out to get there? You're so lucky you're genetically like that.
But it's very kind of you. But the idea that, and therefore the thought comes to your mind saying, am I good enough? And am I good enough to be what I'm doing and where I am in my own small way? And what would you say to those people who grapple with these issues and the definition of what are societal standards of beauty?
Baap re, itna lamba question tha? Huh? Okay, let's try and break it up. First part is, there was a very interesting thing you asked. Just second last question. Kya tha wo? बहुत ही बढ़िया कुछ पूछा था आपने, which I thought was very nice. What was it that you just said just before you ended the question?
Interesting.
You see now? I am supposed to remember the entire question. He doesn't remember the last line of his question.
I'm thinking, what was the last line? What did
it was a very beautiful thing you said, which I was going to answer.
The societal standards, was it?
Society standards was the last line.
Correct. Society.
Yeah, usse pehle wala line.
Sorry, now this is the dilemma. We'll have to replay it. Does anybody remember the second last line? Body shaming?
Was 4 lines before this line. But guys, do you... Aesthetics...
Underconfident.
Underconfident. There was a beautiful line you said, never mind. If miss ho gaya, हम video check करेंगे, उसके बाद next answer करेंगे, next time. He said something very pertinent and beautiful just now. Anywho.
I'm sorry, it's not written. I just said it, so that's why I didn't...
वो जो मन से निकला था ना, बहुत अच्छा था.
मन से निकला था.
So, definition of beauty. For me, it's always been God's handwriting. Why? Because it's not skin deep. It's not what you look at. Because guys, as arrogant as youth is, one day you'll all get old. And it's going to be beautiful. Because once you get to that age, you're going to say, oh, thank God I'm not 16 anymore. Because life experience would be different. And there's going to be various different ways that you yourself will define beautiful. It will change with time. But whatever that definition is, do whatever makes you happy. I often say this because otherwise beauty standards will get you. What the aesthetic world tells you will get you. Do whatever makes you happy. When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you like this person? नहीं मेरा नाक छोटा होता ना तो बहुत अच्छा लगता. If you're ready, go for it. Darling, getting over judgment is important in all aspects if you must be accepting. It's not just about body shaming. We look at body shaming and say, what a bad thing this is. ऐसे कोई बात करता है? मेरे साथ हुआ है. I had put on lots of weight during a certain period of my life when I was very unwell, and I had not told anyone I was unwell. They didn't know. So I'm in the business of looking good. उन्होंने देखा और कहा, इसको क्या हो गया? You know, and there was articles and front page and this and that. बुरा लगा, बहुत बुरा लगा. But thankfully it was happening at a time when I was already 25 years in the business. And I was older. So you learn with time how to deal with all of this. But बुरा तभी भी लगता है. Correct? So very important, guys, that when you speak of beauty, remember you cannot make people feel bad because beauty is not ugly. It's beautiful. And it's accepting. And it's forever with you. As long as it's inside, it will reflect on the outside. It will reflect in your actions. It will reflect in so many aspects of your life that you will be surrounded with people who are calling you beautiful left, right, and center. And it has nothing to do with physicality. But if physically something makes you feel better about yourself, by all means go for it. Don't listen to nobody. It's your life, your identity. Be accepting of yourself so that you're not judging of another. Yes?
This line, I think all of us will remember. Be accepting of yourself so that you don't have to.
Be accepting of
Of other-
yourself so that you're not judging of another.
You be accepting of yourself so that you're not judging of another.
Of another.
But when it comes to judgments, it's very easy to pass judgment on people. And all of us will accept at some point in time we've judged people. The way they dress. But one of the things that I've always thought about is that we're very quick to judge, Sushmita.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for whenever anybody comes and at that juncture when you see their appearance, you see the manner in which they're talking, the pronunciation, these are the first things that make an impression. And we always say, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
But having written many a book which no one has read, I wonder saying, was it my cover? So the idea that the cover has to be aesthetic and appealing is also important in a way.
Yeah.
So how does one juggle that?
Yeah.
And how does one find the thin line of being aesthetic but also not judging people? You know, of not judging people, being confident. How do you do that?
With practice. It has to be. Nothing will come easy. But you will have to practice it. जब बहुत ज़्यादा डर लगे, uncomfortable लगे, underconfidence लगे, you will have to practice it anyway because the only way to reach that level of confidence is to keep on trying. Yes. हमें ऐसा लगता है कि जब भी कोई आता है, they should all sound a certain way, they should be very polished, ये वो सही है. We all carry that. When I have gone to certain international events with everybody speaking in the most high-flying vocabulary, I've been like, what was that word? I need to use that word. That was a very good word. But you have to tell yourself, ईमानदारी नहीं है उसमें. Now I'm going to ask you a question. A Russian president, not a big fan, huh? But Putin, do you ever see him speaking in English? He speaks Russian. Our own prime minister chooses to speak in Hindi. When people know who they are and the responsibility that they carry, and I don't mean presidents and prime ministers, I mean the responsibility of your own existence. इतनी मेहनत तो करनी पड़ेगी कि दुनिया कुछ बोले, मैं यहाँ कुछ बोलने आया हूँ, बोलने आई हूँ, मैं बोल के जाऊँगी. उसके बाद किसको अच्छा लगा, बुरा लगा, वो बाद में देखेंगे. Alongside, keep learning. Because learning never stops. Throughout your life, anything that aspires you, you will learn. And it'll come to you naturally. But you have to keep practicing it.
Keep at it.
Keep at it.
Keep at it.
There's no other way. Yeah.
And one of the things that also is very well known about you is your fitness routine, and that you are very fit. And these days, high schoolers are doing bench presses, but sometimes schools complain that they've forgotten to sit down on a bench and write. So the bench pressing is happening, but all of this is not happening. So, and there are different diet plans. There is all sorts of medication. There's everything from Ozempic to something else, and it's an impressionable age. So, what does it really mean to be fit, according to you?
Being thin and being fit are very different things. Being thin is achievable very easily. Very easily. I'll introduce you to dietitians who will help you do it like this. Not today, you're too young, but like, it's doable. But to be fit, you have to have mental health. You have to have physical audacity and discipline. And discipline is the word. Fitness is about complete body, mind, soul being aligned, where you can not just grow muscles, but have a healthy, fit being. That fitness requires you to have very strong mental aptitude and a great balance with your body's fitness. I, for one, don't train to grow muscles necessarily. I do it because it keeps telling me I am strong. I feel strong. Mentally, physically, I feel strong. Through all of the crises that I go through in my life, you hang 2 gymnastic rings from here, my life is made. I can fix any problem by just going anti-gravity once. Because if I can do that, and I'm going to be 50 this year, I can do anything. So fitness is that.
There's a small rapid fire.
Arey baap re, one of those.
One of those. But there is a hamper also, don't you?
Kidhar hai?
But वो गाड़ी
नहीं,
में
मेरे को ये hamper नहीं दिख रहा है, मैं नहीं करूँगी rapid fire.
वो बहुत बड़ा है. तो
बहुत बड़ा है?
बहुत बड़ा है.
चलो.
But
Quick rapid fire then.
Quick rapid fire, sure. But depends on the applause. Okay, the hamper depends on the applause.
यहाँ पे देते हैं क्या hamper वैम्पर? झूठ बोल रहे हैं ना? सच्ची देते हैं?
देते, but छोटा वाला देते हैं.
नहीं देते हैं, sorry, they're being very honest with me. I love you guys, yeah, thank you. Okay, अब हम सोचेंगे. आप पूछें.
No, but the first word that comes to your mind, chalo, when I say the following words, when I say मैं हूं ना,
शाहरुख खान.
When I say Miss Universe.
When you say Miss Universe, India.
One book you'd recommend?
A book I'd recommend, well, I guess you guys might have read it, but in any case, read it again. That's the magic of that book. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
India?
My homeland. I'm very proud of this country. Very proud.
When I say youth, what comes to your mind?
Potential. Future.
And this is your first introduction to the non-profit that is I.I.M.U.N. What is the first thought that comes when you hear India's international movement to unite nations?
Well, what the first thought that comes to my mind is diversity, celebrating diversity, and creating, leaders from India to the world.
Creating leaders from India to the world. And we need many of those across fields.
We need many of those.
We need many.
And if there's one country, I truly believe this, that is going to have leaders around the world, not just in India, are going to be Indians. And look at this young population.
No, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Now, with that, it's been a delight to be able to have this conversation. But
so
before we let you go, as I did
Before you
mention-
let me go, where's the hamper?
Hamper's always in the car. But one of the things that I must say from this entire conversation, one of the things that I did pick up is how to be your authentic self. that you want to be unabashedly unashamed, like Gen Z is, of who you truly are. And if you truly are, and you represent yourself with all the truth and all the veracity, then I think at the end of the day, we will find a future Indian leader who is uniting the world the Indian way. And in that, we've already had one role model who's come here and who's spoken about this. So on behalf of the organization and everyone associated, it gives me great pleasure to be able to say that we today had Sushmita Sen.
Yes, and you always have me.